What's up guys, today we'll be going over the new raid slug and sniper with the new perks Reconstruction and also Recombination. And we will be going over how to get your hands on these two weapons, then breaking down the two perks and exactly what they do, then going over the DPS of both the slug and the sniper. So let's go ahead and begin with the video. The way you get these two weapons are from the raid, and I made a video on how you can farm the raid loot with the new chest system at the end. So I'm gonna go ahead and link that video in the comments and description. So if we look at the perks, the first one I want to look at is gonna be Reconstruction, which will be a perk in the left side on pretty much all the raid weapons, which states this weapon slowly reloads itself over time up to double capacity. So pretty much how this works is with the slug shotgun, our base magazine is 6, and every 4 seconds it'll load one shot from the reserves into the magazine. So over time it'll eventually go to double capacity, which will be 12. So you just take your base mag size and times it by 2. So that's gonna be obviously extremely good for sustained DPS, pretty much never have to reload, and is kind of like auto load and holster built into the perk. So if we increase our base mag size, it should increase the double capacity. So if we go to a 7 mag with a magazine perk, it will now go to 14 as expected. Then if you pair a magazine perk with backup mag and go to an 8 base magazine size, it will now go all the way up to 16, and this weapon only holds 17 ammo without double reserves or anything like that. So that's pretty much the entire reserves of the weapon in one magazine. Then like I mentioned, it's pretty much just auto load and holster built into the perk. It's gonna be obviously a lot slower than regular auto load and holster, but eventually it will reload the weapon from reserves without you having the weapon out, which is pretty cool. And this perk is kind of like triple tap or 4 times the charm built into it also. So it's kind of like a mix of auto loading and triple tap. And what I mean by that is obviously the auto loading, as we just went over, it will reload the weapon from reserves over time. But then it's also like triple tap, where it will extend the magazine and make you not have to reload as often. So if you had a weapon with 7 bullets in the mag and triple tap, that would mean you could shoot 10 straight without reloading. And this will pretty much do the same thing. So it's kind of like 2 of the best perks in the game all at once. And if we look at the same perk on the sniper rifle, the base magazine will be 3. So if you let it do its thing over time, it'll go all the way up to 6, which is pretty good. Now keep in mind this is a 72 RPM, so the mag sizes are going to be a lot lower than something like a 90 or a 140. Then if we have a mag increase, for example, extended mag, that will take the magazine to 4, which means it now will go to 8. Then we pair that with backup mag, it'll go to 5, which means 10. So obviously, just like we said before, that is really good. And overall for both the slug and the sniper, I just recommend using boss spec most of the time. With the slug, that will give you a 12 mag, and with the sniper, that will give you an 8 mag, and that should be more than plenty for most boss fights in the game. So I would definitely take advantage of that 7.7% increase of the boss spec. Then looking at the perk in the right column, Recombination, elemental final blows increase the damage of this weapon's next shot. So this is going to be a really good damage perk, and pretty much how it works is any elemental final blow, so that's your energy weapon, your power weapon, among other things that will show off later in the video, will give you 1 stack of the buff Recombination, and this will stack all the way up to times 10, as you'll see in this footage right here. So this is going to be a perk that you're going to have pretty much going into every single boss fight, because you're going to be using your energy primary, your power weapon, whatever it is, and getting times 10 throughout the encounter. Then we look at the damage on Carl with all the different stacks. The base damage is going to be 26,450, times 1 will go up to 28,606, times 2 will go to 30,408, times 3, 32,703, times 4, 35,081, times 5, 37,537, times 6, 39,555, times 7, 42,149, times 8, 44,825, times 9, 47,578, then finally with times 10, 49,817. So here is the buff increase for all 10 stacks, and the final one will be 88.3% increase, so nearly double damage on the first shot of your magazine for pretty much every single boss fight. And before we go into the DPS numbers for this perk, I'm kind of expecting it to be pretty similar to Vorpal, and the reason I say that is because Vorpal is going to be a 15% increase. So if you do 1 magazine, which is 6 shots of that 15% increase, over the entire magazine, that's going to be 0.9 bullets worth of extra damage. Then if you compare that to Recombination, we're going to get 0.88 bullets worth of damage on the first shot, then the rest of the magazine will be normal. So over the entire first magazine, it's going to be pretty much the same damage output. The only difference is the Vorpal will be spread out between all the bullets, while with Recombination, all the extra damage is loaded into the first shot. So we look at the rate of fire of this weapon with 1 magazine, so 6 shots with assault mag, make it a 70 RPM. That takes just over 4 seconds, meaning DPS of 1 magazine with Recombination on the first bullet will be 43.8 thousand, which is pretty good and kind of on par with the first and last out with Vorpal, as I expected. And now for 2 magazines, usually we would have to reload, but with Reconstruction, obviously we can shoot off 12 straight, which on a Slug doesn't really change too much because you could reload cancel at the same rate as the rate of fire of the weapon. So once again, I don't expect this perk to really change the DPS of a Slug over 2 magazines. And just like we expected Vorpal to be pretty much the same as Recombination for 1 magazine, I expect Vorpal to actually be better over 2 magazines, because once you shoot more than 6 shots with Vorpal, obviously you still have that 15% on the 7 through 12 shot. So over 2 magazines, we're going to be doing 1.8 bullets worth of extra damage, while with Recombination, over the 2 magazines, we're still only doing that 0.88. So all in all, 2 magazines with this Slug is 37,000, which is definitely still good, but Vorpal would be a little bit higher. But on the other hand, with the Sniper with Recombination, this one should be a little bit better. So if we look at the damage on Carl without the buff, it's 17,625. Now with times 10, this one will be a lot higher at 35,510. And Recombination times 10 on a Sniper will be over 2x damage or 101% increase, which makes me believe Recombination is a crit modifier increase and not just a base increase to the damage, which is why it would be a little bit higher on a Sniper compared to a Slug shotgun. And we look at the 1 magazine, so 4 shots with this, it's going to take 2.5 seconds, mean DPS is 35,000. So as expected, Slugs are still way better than Snipers for the most part. Then over 2 magazines, Reconstruction should help the Sniper a lot more than it does with a Slug, because it'll eliminate one of the reloads, now taking 5.8 seconds, which means the DPS still falls to just over 27,000, so Snipers still aren't in the best place, especially compared to Slugs right now. And now looking at a cool way that we can proc the Recombination buff, usually as we get energy weapon kills, we'll get stacks of the buff, but we can create Warmind cells with something like the EP SMG, and usually the kills with the Warmind cell do not count for Recombination. But what we can do is pair it with Rage of the Warmind, which will add solar damage to explosions of the Warmind cells, and now that is obviously elemental, and all those kills with the Warmind cell can proc the Recombination perk. So in theory, you could do 2 times 10 Recombination shots back to back by shooting Warmind cell in between. And I'm not going to include that in any DPS numbers because doing that on a boss is probably not that realistic, but it's definitely something you could do. Also, pretty much every single way you can get kills with Stasis Energy will also give you stacks of Recombination. So getting times 10 of this buff is going to be pretty easy and something you're going to have quite often doing pretty much anything. And obviously, since both of these weapons are legendary specials, we can pair them with Anarchy, which will increase the DPS by roughly 14,500. So looking at the Slug combo, the 1 mag will go to 58,000, 2 mag will still be almost 52,000. So both those numbers are obviously really good and among some of the highest options in the game. And the Sniper is going to be quite a bit lower as expected, but still pretty respectable numbers. So overall, my thoughts on these 2 different perks. First, with Reconstruction, I think the perk is amazing. It's pretty much triple tap plus auto loading holster all in one, and those are 2 of my favorite perks in general for special weapons. The only thing is on Slugs, you could reload cancel the second magazine just as fast as you can shoot it, so it doesn't quite help with the DPS of the Slug, but definitely helps with the DPS of the Sniper. So overall, I definitely think Reconstruction is a great perk and definitely the thing you want in left side. Then for Recombination, once again, I think it's a great perk, and for just general gameplay, for strikes and things like that, whenever you come up to an ultra, I mean, the Slug literally will one hit pretty much every ultra and every single strike. It is actually crazy how much burst damage it has over like the first shot. But for DPS, like I mentioned, it's not really all that. Pretty much for both the Sniper and the shotgun, once you get past the first 6 shots, Vorpal would be better because you can only have 1 bullet with that 88% increase or that 101% increase on the Sniper, compared to Vorpal having that 15% on every single shot. So if you just do the math, once you get past 6 Vorpal shots, the rest is just extra damage compared to Recombination. So it's kind of weird. Recombination is almost the better perk for just general gameplay, while Vorpal and something like Fireline on Sniper will still be better overall for sustained DPS. But with that being said, both perks are obviously amazing. If you play into them the correct way, they work really well. But I guess overall what I'm trying to say is they're not like must-have perks in almost any way. I think a first and last out with Vorpal can pretty much do the same thing that the Raid Slug can do. But then on the Sniper, at least the Reconstruction will be better overall than most Snipers because of the fact that it will actually remove one of the reloads for you. So I would say for the Sniper, Reconstruction is kind of game-changing and will be better than most regular Snipers. Anyways, that's gonna be it for the video. The rest will be some strike gameplay. I didn't make a build for these weapons in this video because I plan on making all kinds of builds with the Slug in the future, because I do think the Slug with Reconstruction and Recombination will be one of the best specials in the entire game. just to use for pretty much anything. Anyways, thanks for watching. Catch you guys next time.